Tube Carbell here. Today we're taking a look at the Leatherman OHT. OHT stands for one hand tool, and that's because this tool is designed to be one hand operable. OHT is a pretty beefy tool, coming in at just under 10 ounces, which is 2 whole ounces more than the Leatherman Charge TTI, and is very similar to the Pocket Super Tool 300 in weight. You can see here it's also a pretty beefy tool compared to the Pocket Super Tool 300. It's about the same size. And if you compare it to the Leatherman Charge TTI, it's significantly bigger. If you're familiar with Gerber's line of multiplier one-hand tools, this will definitely look familiar to you. It's because it's very similar. There's a couple big design features that make this tool work better than the Gerber's. First of all, you can see this air space here in the tool. That's not a mistake by Leatherman. That's actually to make sure that you don't pinch your hands. When using the pliers and bearing down with the Gerber tools, a lot of times if the pliers slipped off a bolt or you cut through something very heavy duty, the handles would slam close and pinch your palm pretty badly. So that's a welcome improvement. Also, the Leatherman OHT has spring-acting pliers, which is excellent in a one-hand tool. And also, all of the tools are locking and they are outside one-hand accessible, which is excellent because all the tools inside of the Gerber multipliers are not accessible. They're on the inside of the tool. So if we take a look at the OHT's pliers, you can slide them out here with the two little sliding buttons on the side of the tool. They do have the replaceable 154 cm wire cutters, which I love and I wish Leatherman would put on all of their tools. And they're actually a fairly slim design. If we compare them here to the Pocket Super Tool 300, you can see that they are a little slimmer. They don't have these little bulges on the side, which makes them easier to get into places. They're just as thick, and although they're slightly shorter, they do feel just as beefy as the Pocket Super Tool ones, and I have no worries about breaking them. I do like the black oxide coating on the pliers and all the tools. This tool is available in the tan you see here. It's also available in all black. If you want to open the OHT one-handed, it's pretty easy. I'll show you a couple ways. First of all, you can simply grab hold of the buttons on the side, and with a sharp little motion down, the tool slides open. I'll see if I can do that so you can see the front of the tool. And you don't want to squeeze too hard on this or it won't open. See, it just drops open just like that. Usually when I close it, I just hold the back of the tool with my palm, grab a hold of the buttons. These buttons up here actually lock the pliers into place and engage the spring mechanism. You can just slide it back with your thumb like that. The other way to open it, you can actually open this like you would flick open a knife. The important thing is not to squeeze the tool in this direction. You want to put pressure in this direction. If you put pressure this way, the tool is going to bind. It's not going to flip open. So usually I keep my thumb in the middle here to make sure I'm not squeezing in. And you want to apply pressure that way. And then you can take the tool in. Flick your wrist, hit the desk there, apologize. A little hard to do on camera. And the pliers flip open. Let me do that one more time, see if I can not slam into the desk for you guys. There you go. It's really easy to do, especially if you're not confined by the small area of the screen here. Another way you can actually close the pliers if you want to is if you turn them upside down. Let me show you that again real quick. If you turn them upside down, you can actually, it's kind of like opening them, they slide closed. It looks a little bit awkward on the video. That's really just because of the confined space. It's pretty easy once you get used to it. It's like opening a slightly stiff knife. It just takes a little flick of the wrist, and it actually slides open real easily. You can also lock the pliers closed with this little toggle here on the side. Twist to the right. You twist it that way, the pliers are locked in place. And on the other side, there's a threaded hole which accepts a cleaning rod for a firearm. So that's kind of nice if you want a handle for your cleaning rod. I personally don't use that, so I think it's kind of just a leftover from the lock being on the other side, but according to Leatherman, it's a feature, so we'll go with it. Let's take a look at the tools the OHT offers. All the tools are one-hand accessible, so I'm going to try to demo that for you. There again, it's a little hard in the confined space, but it shouldn't be too bad. One thing you can see here real quick before we start that is these shapes that are raised on the scales of the tool here. That's actually an image of what the tool is underneath there, and you can see it has it for the small tools as well, which is kind of neat, so you can see real easily what you're opening. So we'll start here on this side with the blade. This is one of the most easy tools to access. You open it up, it's black oxide coated, plain edge. A little bit of a drop, almost kind of clip point. It's extremely sharp from the factory. Take a look at this piece of paper here. Slices through at butter. It's 420 HC, like most of Leatherman's tools, but it does seem to hold an edge pretty well. My one complaint is it is fairly small. If we measure it here, I like to use my charges measurement scale. If we put it there at the 1 inch line, see if you can see that on camera. I get to focus on this real quick. There we go. You can see the inch marks. See, it's just over 2.5 inches, which seems a little small on a 4.5 inch size Leatherman. If you compare that to the Super Tools blades, Pocket Super Tool 300, they're about 3.5 inches, which is about an inch longer and the same size of a tool. The size constraints mainly due to the design of the tool, making all the tools accessible on the outside, and the sliding pliers doesn't leave much room inside. So they are adequate, but the blade seems a little smallish. If you press the little lock mechanism down there, it's pretty easy to close. The tools on the back side, you can see I'm holding this here in my right hand. It might be a little different for lefties, but the other tools in the back are a little hard to access. Usually I start them with my finger and then grab hold of it with my thumb and open, but still pretty easy to do. We have a sheep's foot serrated blade, also in black oxide. There again, it's a little short, about 2.5 inches, but they're still pretty decent. And this is the hardest part. Usually what I do if I'm out in the field is I just squeeze the lock with my hand and then press it like on a pant leg, like you would kind of with a lockback knife. So I find that's the easiest way to close it. However, the video looks a little difficult because we're confined in the space and I'm trying to demo them for you, so bear with me a little bit. Alright, on this side, if you look at that shape there, you're probably going, what is that shape? That is actually a strap cutter. And the strap cutter's nice and sharp and would be effective for the military or Leo personnel that this tool is primarily designed for. Take a look here, I have some 550 cord and without much trouble at all. Try that one more time, we'll get it a little bit better in camera frame for you. 550 cord, just grab it in there, pops through it like it's nothing. Works pretty well for strap. It has kind of a pry bar shaped flathead driver up there, and this finger hole actually doubles as an oxygen wrench. So if you're a firefighter and need to open or close your oxygen, that's easy to do. On the back side, the last of the large tools is a saw. There again, it's kind of short, but as I've showed you before in the past, Leatherman saws are actually pretty effective. This is just dry pine, so it's not the best test in the world, but if we take a look there, it does cut pretty effectively. You know, you wouldn't be cutting through too large of diameter, you're kind of limited by the length of the blade, but it does a very good job for small stuff. So let's close it up and we'll take a look at the other side here, the smaller tools. We'll start off by, you can see a picture there, kind of pointed. It's actually a small flat driver. It's an excellent little flat driver. On the back side of that, we have a large flat driver. This one seems a little short for the size of the driver, but it functions pretty well. Here on this side, we have a combination can and bottle opener. And I showed you in the past, this one tends to dig into bottles a little bit if you're trying to open them, but it does work pretty well. Be a little careful opening this one, as it's kind of sharpish. It's not blade sharp, but it does have a little bit of a grind there on it, so just be mindful when you're opening not to push too hard down on that blade part of it. And then, last but not least, this is actually a really awesome Phillips driver. As you can see here, it's kind of flat, but it's definitely got more dimension than some of the drivers that you'll see on these tools. It's actually nice and long, and it's pretty effective. And it's allowed to be longer because you can see it's backed up against the strap cutter. So you can have a little bit more range on that one, so that's really nice. Overall, this is a pretty cool tool. It's very unique and has some really awesome design functions. One cool thing about the design is it's actually accessible while wearing gloves. So I have my cheap little Wells Lamont leather palmed gloves here, and I'll show you a quick demo of some of the tools with gloves on. You can see it's pretty easy to open the pliers even without flicking them. If I can get a good grip on them here. There we go. pliers, no problem. Turn the tool around, no problem getting the blades open. A little hard to get them unlocked, but not too bad. So it is accessible with gloves. So that's really nice if you're a first responder or, like I said, law enforcement or firefighter or something like that, which is primarily who this tool is designed for. It's not a very good everyday carry tool for the average Joe, in my opinion, because it is big and it does lack a couple functions. If we compare it to the Pocket Super Tool 300, the Super Tool adds, let's take a look here, in addition to the tools that you already find on the OHT, you get a file, a lanyard loop, an awl, and an extra driver, which is not too bad, but the Pocket Super Tool is not the most feature-rich multi-tool out there. Compared to something like the Wave or a Charge, you're going to lose some functionality, and it's also going to be a lot larger. This tool is kind of a master of one instead of a jack of all trades in a way, because it's designed around the one-hand operability, and it does that very great. So if you're a person that wears gloves a lot, or if you're military, law enforcement, some first responder, this might be an excellent tool for you. Anyone that needs quick access to those tools, something like a strap cutter or the pliers, this would make an excellent tool for. And it makes a great alternative to the Gerber Multiplier series, because this is made of much higher quality materials and is built to the quality you've come to expect from Leatherman. So overall, interesting, unique tool. I had fun playing with it. It's definitely not easy for me. I wear this with its MOLLE-compatible sheath on my tack vest for when I'm out shooting my AR. So that's my primary function for this one. I go back and forth between that and the MUT, which is a military utility tool, which I'll bring you a video on here pretty soon. And that's another heavyweight military tool. And overall, I'd like to thank you guys for your views. Thank you for joining me today, taking a look at this tool. I would appreciate if you would not forget to like and subscribe, and definitely share with your friends. Have a nice day.